Hey all, here at OS Reviews. About this time last summer, we checked out the Xiaomi Mi Band 3, a really solidly performing basic fitness tracker at a super low cost budget price of 30 bucks. Well, this time, 1 year later, they've come out with their successor, the Mi Band 4. Instead of relying on a black and white monochrome OLED display, it's now been upgraded to a full color AMOLED panel and makes it more competitive with newer models that have been released over the past few months, like the Honor Band 4, which also has a color AMOLED display. The Mi Band 4 also has a very low price. It's slightly more expensive than before, but right now you can get it on promotion for about 33 bucks. It's still one of the cheapest fitness wearables you'll find on the market from a trustable and recognizable brand. Otherwise, features underneath, aside from the color display, have remained largely unchanged. There still isn't a GPS module, so it can't track, say, your path if you're running outside. For that, you have to pay a bit more and still rely on a smartwatch like the Amazfit Bip, which is still a great option, by the way. But this one just shows you your basic notifications, again, step counting, also shows your sleep, as well as calories burned and heart rate. One of my biggest concerns shifting from a black and white to a color display would have been battery life, but at least on paper, Xiaomi claims it will still last up to 20 days on a single charge, which is very impressive. Now, it is slightly shorter than, say, the Amazfit Bip and the Mi Band 3, which I got over 30 days on a single charge, but to be honest, it still is going to be leaps and bounds above a traditional smartwatch. Other specifications include an upgraded Bluetooth 5.0 chip, which should improve the battery efficiency. The touchscreen measures 0.95 inches diagonally. The unit is 5 ATM for waterproof and should work with both iOS and Android. There's also a number of growing sports mode that you can use it for, including swimming, running, walking, and it should be able to track your heart rate and calories burned pretty precisely under those specific sports sessions. Gone are the days where on the original Mi Band, it relied on just a tiny little screen and a physical button that you needed to press. Now we have a much more modern and beautiful looking UI interface. Now, even though this is the, again, aforementioned Chinese variant, simply syncing it with your smartphone app, which is the Mi Fit app, should allow it to change into English or whatever your preferred language is. I should also point out that there is a variant that sells for $10 more that includes NFC if mobile payment is an option that you want to use with this fitness device. Now, under this first compartment, we have the proprietary charger. Although we still need to push the tracker out of its rubber strap in order to charge it, putting the pins on the back is a little different compared to the Mi Band 3, where the charging contacts were on the edge. I think this new charging cradle is improved because it's not as hard to pop it in for quick charging and top-ups. It pops in with a satisfying click, and it's also a bit easier to remove as well compared to the last generation. In the second compartment, we have the quick instruction manual. Again, because this is the Chinese variant, most of the instructions are going to be in Chinese, but for the most part, it just tells you how to wear it, how to scan the app to download the Mi Fit application, and how to basically interact with the touchscreen. A closer look at the design first. The overall dimensions in terms of the thickness as well as the weight are pretty much identical to the last gen. It also had a divot point on the bottom that you could tap on to wake the screen up. Now you still get that touch sensitive point, but it's no longer as easy to feel without looking at the device. With that being said, the previous generation used a lower quality material for the surface. It was made out of plastic and didn't feel quite as solid versus this one, which is actually made out of glass. It's harder to scratch, definitely feels more premium, just like the Gorilla Glass on our smartphones, and has a 2.5D curve on the edges. And then on the back here, we just have the aforementioned optical heart rate sensor. Now, a quick size comparison with the aforementioned Honor Band 4, which again came out a few months back and was also very popular. The dimensions of the display on both trackers are actually the same, even though the Honor Band 4 is a little bit taller, so Xiaomi's device is a bit more compact. Otherwise, the straps themselves feel about the same in terms of their rubber construction, and on the back we can see the optical heart rate sensors. Now, one thing I like a little bit better about the Honor Band's design is I don't need to pop the main body out of its straps in order to charge it. I can simply pop it on like so, and it begins charging. Here it is next to the Amazfit Bip smartwatch, so it is a little bit thicker, but at the same time it is much thinner from the front. And we also have it against the Amazfit Core. It can be seen as a predecessor to this unit in many regards, but has a traditional IPS LCD display instead of AMOLED, which is more energy efficient. And more importantly, the Amazfit Core was also one of their premium wearables a few years back. So here's the familiar looking Xiaomi Mi Fit app. I can tap on the plus here to add a band. I need to confirm it on the band by tapping on the check key. There's haptic vibration on the band as well, so it does vibrate whenever you get a new notification, for example. Paired successfully, and now it's also pushed over the correct time. I'm going to activate this new device and also stop my previous Mi Band 3 from pairing. Here's the tutorial. It says band lock. The band will be locked when it's removed from your wrist. And it seems like there's even a passcode that you can set. Very interesting. Nothing I've seen before on other fitness trackers. Multiple sports. 6 sports are tracked, including treadmill, outdoor running, jogging. If you don't like it, next one. So you can control music as a remote to your phone using Bluetooth. And now it's just updating the firmware over here. So immediately we are already updated to English because I have the English version of the Mi Fit app on my phone. So even if you pick up the Chinese variant because it was released a few days earlier than the international model, you can still use it in the language of your choice. So there's about 30% charge right out of the box. The app interface is of course very familiar to anyone who's used, say, Mi Band 3 or even past generations like the first gen that was incredibly popular a few years back. And you have the ability to set different alarms, reminders, and the new thing here to leverage its color display is you can add a lot more customization to the home page. There's lots of different types of animations as well as wallpapers that you can pick from. You can definitely choose a watch face that you like best based on your preferences. Say I want this new watch face, I can tap on sync and it would simply download and afterwards push it over. And now it's over here, and you can see that actually it's a pretty detailed looking image, even though it doesn't have, of course, as high of a pixel density as, say, on our flagship level smartphones, but it actually still is very impressive because it is AMOLED, it has great contrast and excellent viewing angles as well. Now, if we wanted to change the watch face back, if I tap on more, I can simply go down into the band display option, and from here I can go back onto its original watch face, and it even includes a few different colorful watch faces I can pick from. Very clean, and we just have an icon that shows basically how many steps we've walked, and it reaches full when it's completed our daily goal that we can program on the app, say 5,000 steps or 10,000 steps. Battery percentage on the top, time and date. I can swipe down to take a look at my status, basically a more detailed breakdown of my fitness, including steps, distance walk, calories burned. I can tap from the edge and swipe over to go back one page, just like before, and I can take a look at my heart rate. It tells me to fasten the strap about 1 centimeter from our wrist bone, and then tap on check to begin the monitoring. Workout, I can tap on a different type of sport, like outdoor running, treadmill, cycling, walking, but otherwise it will tell us the time elapsed, all our distance, calories, and our continuous heart rate will be measured throughout the entire session. The next tab over is weather, so it tells us our current weather based on our location, and tapping on more, we're able to see if we want to start a do not disturb mode. Basically, if we're going to sleep, it's not going to vibrate. The stopwatch function, which is just very simple, and you can basically pause it, add different laps. There's a Alipay built on in here, which is basically turning the display into a QR code that you can scan at different counters. Again, Alipay is much more popular in China than it is in other countries. Under settings, we're able to change, say, the brightness. Right now, we are actually not at the brightest setting, so we can make it even brighter, and it is definitely going to be visible even outdoors, so much improved compared to the original in terms of its brightness. And we also can set the aforementioned lock screen. Just like other trackers, we can turn the display to sleep just by covering our hand on it, or if your sleeve's basically covered down, there is an ambient light sensor on it which will automatically turn the display off just to prevent any accidental hits or triggers, which is pretty cool. So as a whole, the interface here is very simple to use. The carousel view here basically loops around regardless of which direction you go in. Everything is very smooth, and I love all these very vibrant looking colors. So we'll be doing a lot more testing, and be sure to come out with a complete review on its performance and our more thoughts after wearing it for a bit. But for now, that's been our unboxing and first impressions look in the setup process of the Xiaomi Mi Band 4.